You do you. I'ma do me. That's what's up, homie.
That's what's
Bye. What's good, y'all? My name is Sehie Olivia Coe. I just turned 23. I moved here from Detroit, representing the D. And I graduated from University of Detroit Mercy this May. So I'm fresh out. For sure.
So you forgot to mention your major.
Yeah, so I'm a biochemistry major with a double minor in business and leadership.
Double minor. Business and leadership.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you're
Doing my
actually
thing.
out-of-state student.
Yes.
And that's very important because a lot of people think since you're out-of-state, you shouldn't apply to in-state and you will not get in.
Okay.
But you applied from out-of-state
Yes.
and now here in New York State.
Yep.
So that's very good.
Yes.
Comforting.
Yep. New York is cool. Detroit is amazing. New York is real cool.
Yeah.
I actually only applied out of state. I didn't apply to any of our in-state schools.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, here I am.
Yeah. So basically, in terms of like a lot of people are anxious about grades, and am I good enough to apply for dental school? What type of grades should I have? So in terms of, do you have any color reference for us?
Yes.
Yeah, you can pick a one. Purple, and that's for
I
the
believe.
DAT.
Yes.
And what about the GPA? And what about the PAT? Yeah. Impressive stuff.
Represent.
Represent. So basically, so you definitely like killed the DAT. How did you
Thanks.
prep for it?
Okay, so most important thing, get your playlist right. So I had to make sure, like, I was feeling good starting off. So you want to go into it and make sure you're studying efficiently. You want to work smart, not hard. So I was going in making sure my body was feeling right, like my energy was in a right state. I was feeling good about myself, and then when you like eat good and feel good, you're gonna put in good work. So I studied in South Korea actually. I was home to see my family because all my family's in Korea. So I was like very distant from all my friends and all my American distractions, and then I had home distractions. So like make sure to take breaks and pace yourself, but you know what your end goal is, you know your standards, you know what you need to get out of this time or your schedule that you have planned out, so you need to stick to it. You got to make your own. You can always get advice from other people, but you got to stick to your own thing. Always.
So basically, you also mentioned like don't focus just on the studying,
Right.
the surroundings, the
Right.
diet, the
Exactly.
sleep habits, everything is
Yes.
involved when you're studying
Yeah.
for the DAT.
Definitely.
So basically, when you were applying to dental schools, did you have a specific criteria of? So since you're in Detroit, why did you apply to UV?
Okay, so anyone who knows me knows that like I'm very adventurous.
Yeah.
So honestly, like I applied out of state into different places because I just needed something new.
Yeah.
I really was interested in the story of Buffalo, as I was interested in the story of Detroit when I first moved to Detroit. So I was really looking for a place that really needed healthcare. There were underprivileged, and you hear about different stories of people who are really seeking for help and they don't have the healthcare access that they need. And I heard about that a lot in Detroit. I heard about that coming from Buffalo and to the other two places that I applied to. So definitely that was something I was looking for, was like a place that I could make an impact in healthcare, but not only that, just like with my story and with my spirit, I wanted to contribute to something, you know.
To
bigger.
specifically like a society that needed it. And,
Exactly.
And as we were talking, you had different leadership roles. You started a couple of organizations, and they were mostly nonprofit. So can you tell us a little bit more about the amazing stuff that you did in undergrad?
Sure. So I'm very interested in art, as you can see,
Yeah.
and I really enjoy pushing and challenging people to express themselves and be true to who they are. So a lot of things that I did in undergrad, I get bored easily, so a lot of my ideas come from just being bored sitting at a table studying. So I really just got people together to go out and contribute to our community. We were in Detroit. Obviously, there's a lot of need. There are youth running around not knowing what to do, where to go, and so we really went out and focused with underserved youth. So we worked at an orphanage, at a youth homeless shelter, at different shelters in the community that youth lacked guidance. And we provided different educational services, activities, and I got around 300-400 students together like throughout the years, and we just like regularly made it a thing to go and just spend time with them, be mentors, and really just be like brothers and sisters to these kids, so that we could like plant hope and also just like plant some type of motivation and just set an example for our youth, because they're our future. Like, we are all blessed to be here. I mean, whatever it took for you to get here, like, that's your story, and you made it here. But some people don't have that same background or whatever, and I definitely did not have that background. And so looking back, like, I have to give back. I know where my roots are. It took a lot to get here, and I still see some people who are still trying to get to wherever they want to be in life, and you can't just let them sit there. Like, you have to be there for them and encourage them, and, you know, like, bring them along with you. Like, we can all do this together, but we just, I don't know, have to stick together. And that's something we did in Detroit. We also, I organized a charity fashion show. That was lit. We had a lot of models.
Fashion shows are always lit, yeah.
Exactly. And it was just, like I said, about being creative, about expressing yourself, about being confident, and being, like, just exploring your confidence and exploring, like, how you want to express just, like, who you are and what you do. So, and that whole charity aspect was we gave back to the community, and everything we raised and all the awareness we got from it went right back to those youth. So it was a good time. You know,
it sounds like a good time, but like as much as you give in, you probably got a lot of. It was very rewarding.
Learned so much.
Yes.
Learned so much.
So we already talked about why you selected the dental schools, and now people are going through the interview process.
Right.
I know you're very unconventional in everything that you do. How was Sehie in her interview? Were you also as unconventional? Did you follow, like, you know, the dress codes and such? I heard you were wearing a peach suit.
I was wearing a peach top. So taking a step back, before I walked into my interview, obviously, like I already mentioned, like, it took a lot to get here. So before I even walked in that day, I traveled from Detroit. I drove with my best friend on his birthday. And just the whole way there, like, I was just myself, you know, music blasting, just, like, enjoying the time. But I was a little emotional. Like, it took a lot to get here. Yeah. And, like, it was emotional applying, because it was just like, wow, like, I'm really doing this. Wow, like, I really got this far. And then when you're actually driving to your interview, it's like they really want you. Like, they're inviting you into their place because they think you have a shot at this. So for those of you guys who are applying right now, like, and when you get your interview, the fact that you're applying, first of all, like, you're in such a great place. The fact that you have a shot at your dreams, that's huge. Not everyone gets that. I mean, in America, we're blessed, but in some places of the world, like, you don't even get a shot at what you want to do, and you don't get to, sometimes you just take that for granted, and you shouldn't. Like, remember this as you're applying and as you're going into interview, like, be grateful for where you are. But that's where I was at, and I feel like the people at my interview felt that. And we did talk about dentistry, obviously, but we actually talked more about energy and about creativity and being true to, like, where you come from, but then where you want to go in life. And it was very, it was formal, but it was informal in the fact that it wasn't what I was expecting from a dental interview. Yeah. It was very, like, what are your strengths? Where do you want to impact? What kind of, just like, what do you want to do, and how do you feel like you can contribute to this? And it was just extremely welcoming, and I could tell that they really, really cared. Because it wasn't just like, oh, your DAT, your DAT, your DAT. It was just like, I want to know you. Like, who are you, and how can you really be there for people in the field of dentistry? So I really liked it. Make sure that you're appreciative at your interview, because there are a lot of people who took the time out of their day, like students, like faculty, to be there and make sure that you're comfortable. So yeah, like, pat yourself on the back too, but make sure that you're showing appreciation to the people who are there, because everybody's watching you that day. Yeah. So be on your A game, you know, look cute, do your thing, but
do your thing.
Yeah.
It's like the Sehie show. We already talked about the advice, right? Mm-hmm. The one thing I already talked about. So, like, now is it gonna be like, what, hugs?
Sure.
Like, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
We're gonna make more videos of Sehie. Yeah.
For sure.
Unconventional stuff.
Oh, and follow him. What is it?
Oh yeah, dental impressions on Instagram. Very important.
Dental impressions. Follow him.